So tonight, another angel of Baba is with us, Sister Estefanía. A few words about Estefanía, even though we know her. So Estefanía came to Guyana exactly 20 years ago in July 2003, when she did the course with her mother in Iceland. She is now part of the national coordination team for the Brahma Kumaris in Iceland, and also coordinates the BK activities in Norway. For the past 2 years, she has lived in both these countries. Estefanía has education in music and has until recently been working as the head of the classical department of the Reykjavik College of Music. She runs a small company called Lucky Star, which specializes in producing online meditation material widely used by schools and families in Iceland. She is also part of the executive circle of the Spirit of Humanity Forum, an international forum for leaders in Iceland, of which Brahma Kumaris is one of the partners. The topic for tonight is living my Brahmin life wholeheartedly. So Estefanía, very warm welcome with a bouquet of flowers from Sister Shukran from Izmir.
Thank you so much. Very beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
So I just want to remind you that there are translation in different languages, so speak a little bit slow. And though I know that you speak in a very good speed. So after the talk, we will have questions and answers. So everyone, please place your questions on the chat so Sister Estefanía can answer them. So Estefanía, welcome.
Thank you very much, Maria. And yeah, it's really lovely to be with all of you here this evening. And please let me know if at any point I start speaking a bit fast, because that sometimes happens, but I will do my best. So when Yogesh Bhai, he approached me a while ago and he asked if I could meet the family here and do a talk for the Brahmin family. And my first response was just to say yes, because that's normally what I do, unless I have a very good reason not to. And then I started thinking, what should I talk about? Why should I be giving a talk to the Brahmin family or like talking like that? But I liked what Maria was saying in the introduction, that it's more about sharing experiences and sharing from my own life and some insights and realizations. And that's anyway what I thought I would do this evening. And I chose this topic that has been like a thread in my own life for a very long time, both in Brahmin life and also before Gyan, which is about living my life wholeheartedly. And I think in a logic sense, people say that you should follow your heart, you should pursue your dreams, you should really go for whatever you want in life. And now there are even special coaches, all kinds of different coaches that people go to achieve their dreams and really make their wishes or desires in life come true. With Baba and Brahmin life, it is quite different. It doesn't work quite that way. And I think sometimes I can say for myself, sometimes I haven't realized the complexity of this life in a way. It's so interesting to come to Baba. And before I might have, I can say for myself, I had some dreams, I had some things that I wanted to do in my life. And coming to Baba, it suddenly didn't have the same meaning. I didn't feel like doing what I had felt I wanted to do before. And I've often had the experience in Brahmin life, but I've been learning that I may have ideas about something that I want, something that I really want to go for, maybe in terms of service. And then I find out that it's actually not Papa's plan. So it's not that just I can plan, I can dream, I can have my own ideas about what I want to do in life. Because as I became a Brahmin, and as I made that choice, or maybe it wasn't even a choice, I think for many of us, when we come to Papa, it just is like this. You just find out, yes, I am a Brahmin soul. It's not even a choice. I just feel this pull and feel that, yes, this is what I have to do. And then it's almost as if I make a contract with Papa. And the contract is that I'm going to be your instrument. And I will use my life in a way that's beneficial for my own purification, of course, number one, but then also for world transformation. And I think definitely for myself, and I've also seen it for other BKs, this can be an interesting and sometimes a bit complicated path to follow. When you want to live by your heart. I want to live wholeheartedly. I really want to just be aligned with also my values, what I feel. And at the same time, I've also given my life to Baba. So I'm not fully in charge of my life anymore. So it's a different approach. And maybe just to tell you a little bit about where I come from in terms of this theme. Of course, we as Brahmins and just we as souls, we come from so many different directions. We have such variety of experiences behind us, like before we came into Brahmin life. For me, I was 22 when I came to Baba. And I was very, very good at being the good girl. So I'd always been like good in school. I did my homework. I made sure to tick all the right boxes. Teachers liked me, parents liked me. I was like this pleasing girl. And life was quite okay, but there was also a lot of suppression. And I felt that I was often not expressing myself fully, but I was doing the right things and kind of life was okay, life was fine. And when I came to Baba, I took these sanskars definitely with me into Brahmin life, and I continued to just do whatever I was told, both what Baba told me, of course, in the Murlis, also what my seniors told me. And I was just being a very good student, very good Brahmin, ticking all the right boxes, getting quite a lot of appreciation, and it was all fine. Yes, I will speak slower. Thanks for the
slower. Yes.
Yes, I will speak slower. Thanks. So, yes, after becoming a Brahmin, I continued this, doing what I was told to do, being a good Brahmin, being a good student, being a good girl. And it worked well the first year, and I was very intoxicated. And as I guess many of us are during the first year. But then after a while, a lot of tension started to build up within. And I could feel that even though I was doing all the right things in terms of following Srimad, following the guidance that I was receiving, I was very much in a pleasing mode. And even though this was supposed to be a part of spirituality, path of spirituality, I was not always living so much from the inside out, but more pleasing and trying to fit into the right boxes. And I think when we come to Baba, because everything is kind of turned upside down, all my beliefs about life, about myself, or at least many of the beliefs, It's all turned upside down, and this can cause a lot of insecurities in the self. And I don't really know anymore how I'm supposed to be, how I'm supposed to behave. I try to really be accurate in everything, and sometimes it works, but sometimes it also can create lots of tension. So I had been 8 years in Brahmin life. This was, I remember very well, it was on my 30th birthday, big birthday, after 8 years in Gyan. And I kind of just crashed. It was like some kind of a breakdown, very close to depression. And it was hard to understand what was happening. Why is this happening, since I'm doing all the right things and I'm ticking in all the right boxes and everything seems to be fine? Everyone is happy with me, but I'm really not happy with myself. And I was feeling this sense of depression and just being very, very low, very much down. But it was a good thing that this happened, which is often the case, I guess, when we go through difficulties like this, because I realized that I had been kind of living according to everyone else's guidance and rules, and not just Baba's, but also the guidance of other BK instruments and trying to fit in. And I just couldn't do it anymore. Tension had been building up for many years, and this was it. So for a while, I stepped out of service, not for a very long time, but for a little while. I just decided to step out of everything. And I felt like at that time, felt like nobody, like not being useful in any way because of my mental state. But it was really very, very helpful to have to then start building my self-worth and find meaning, not based on service, not based on pleasing anyone, but really coming from within. And since then, this has been a theme in my life, and I've had to take many steps in terms of overcoming all kinds of fears and insecurities. And when I was thinking about this theme of wholehearted living my Brahmin life wholeheartedly, I was just thinking about what are some of the signs that I'm living a wholehearted Brahmin life, and what are some of the signals that I'm not. And I would like to share with you on the screen. Just put it up. Here's some of the things. There are many more, I guess, but these are some of the indicators. And maybe you can look at this as well. And I think this can be a kind of a mirror. I can look at these qualities, and it's like a mirror that can show me where I'm at. And I guess we have periods in our Brahmin life. Sometimes we are more wholehearted and sometimes less. But the first quality under the wholehearted living is enthusiasm. And for me, what I find really key in terms of enthusiasm is to feel the enthusiasm for really enjoying Gyan, enjoying the Murli, enjoying exploring Baba's Murli, and enjoying yoga. It's easy to become enthusiastic about service, and that's fine, of course, as well. But I do feel, and I've seen it in my own life, that if enthusiasm for Gyan and yoga is lacking, and I maybe lose myself in enthusiasm for service, or even enthusiasm for something else, which can also come in, enthusiasm for my job or something else. But really this enthusiasm for the basics is what makes the heart very healthy and cleanses the heart and makes me whole again. And for me, a key element, if I feel that I'm somehow becoming less enthusiastic about the murli, for example, or about yoga, and it feels a bit too much like a routine, too much like some things that I've heard before, and I'm not able to experience so much newness. What I find very helpful is to become intimate with myself, to really sit with myself, and I like this word, being intimate with myself, being close with myself, being intimate with myself, and putting everything else aside and asking myself, what are my real needs now in life? What is it that I, the soul, am needing, craving for? And how can Gyan and yoga, how can it help me to become more wholehearted and healthy-hearted? So taking it from theory to really close to my heart. And I put the two columns, like the half-hearted. I don't know if you can say that, but I think you probably can. If you can be wholehearted, you probably can be half-hearted as well. And I put there boredom as the opposite of enthusiasm. And when the murli and when yoga doesn't seem so relevant, boredom can definitely creep in. And I've seen this in myself, and I've also seen this in other Brahmins. And I've seen that it's such a pity with a beautiful life like Brahmin life can be, to feel bored. It really doesn't belong to Brahmin life. So if I am feeling a bit bored, it's really a time to become very close, very intimate with myself and check what are my needs and how can Baba's Gyan and how can yoga, how can I really become real here and get what I need. And the next quality that I put was care. And not necessarily so much the care for others or like that, of course that is there as well, but especially caring for my life. And caring for whatever I do in my life, doing it with care. And I do feel that Brahmin life is a very artful life. And it is a life that is, whatever we do in life, it becomes like an art. The way I wake up, the way I start the day, the way I cook, the way I eat, just the way I am in life. Just doing it with care and with beauty in a way. And then the opposite of that is carelessness. And I feel that when I do things with care, it really increases my self-respect. Whereas where I become careless, self-respect goes down. And another quality is integrity. And on the other side is hypocrisy. And probably for many of us Brahmins, we've been preachers and teachers and like been teaching and preaching for many births, I think. And we have known a lot of things, and theoretically we have spoken about things and then been like they say in Germany, Besserwissers, knowing everything best. Not a very nice quality, but so now moving from hypocrisy to really being authentic, being true in what I do. And then the next one, contentment, and on the other hand, sadness. And when I was thinking about this theme of wholeheartedness, I think you cannot necessarily measure it, how wholehearted you are in Brahmin life, by asking yourself, how happy am I? Because this is such a life that we have to face the self on so many levels. And often it's just very painful. We have to go through all kinds of things, all kinds of inner cleaning. And I will probably or definitely not be happy all the time. That's just what it is. Even if I'm very wholehearted in what I'm doing. Because I'm kind of, everything is coming up. I'm allowing everything to come up. So, but some kind of contentment, I would still say, is there if I'm wholehearted. There is some kind of contentment. And the last one is focus, or on the other side, being easily distracted. So being wholehearted, it indicates that I've given my whole heart to Baba, not just part of it. Whole heart to Baba and to my own transformation, to this path of transformation. And if I'm wholehearted, I will be determined, I will be focused. Whereas if I'm not, if my heart is like distributed in many places, I will be easily distracted. And my heart will be in many different, I will have many different pools, many different interests. So, I mean, these were just some things that came to mind as I was thinking about this. There are probably many other qualities as well. And for me, a key element that came very early on in my Brahmin life, actually, when I was trying to find out how can I be wholehearted in a pure way, not as I was saying in the beginning, not in the logic sense that people want to make their dreams come true and all of that. But how can I really live wholeheartedly in my Brahmin life? And what I have found very, very nurturing and very, like a very beautiful journey is to discover my own specialties, maybe more than one, but sometimes at each point in time, maybe some one specialty. And I feel that, at least for me, a way to live wholeheartedly is to really find what is it? What is the specialty that I stand for? What is the quality, the specialty that is very, very dear to me? And it's like a quality that is given by Baba, given by Rama and Baba. And it's what I am. It's what makes me me. It's what makes me unique. And I remember for a while when I came to Baba, I was very much afraid of the ego. And maybe not during the first year, but definitely after my first year and for many years, there was a lot of fear of the ego. And I was afraid to see my specialty and to see my goodness, because I thought it's ego. And at some point, I remember that I was speaking to a sister who was like further along the path, like senior to me. And I was speaking with her and she was asking, how is everything going? And what is the service that you're involved in? Are you like doing any new kind of service? And I said to her, I feel that my ego is really too big. I had some thoughts, there were things that I wanted to do in life in terms of service, but I felt that it's too mixed. There's too much ego involved. I can't really do it because I know it won't work out. And she laughed at me and she said, if you're going to wait until your ego is gone, you won't do anything. You will just be waiting your whole life. If you don't step forward and you bring what you have to the table and you contribute in your Brahmin life with whatever you feel in your heart is yours to contribute, and you're just waiting for the ego to go away, it won't happen. Because the way for the ego to crush, the way for the ego to become smaller is actually through service. It's through interaction. It's through using my specialties and then having to face myself, maybe having to face the ego, which I have often had to do. But that's how we learn. That's how I've learned. And if Baba had to wait, if he could only use egoless instruments, he would be in big trouble. He wouldn't have anyone, really. So this was a kind of a change for me. Not being afraid of the ego, not being afraid of really allowing myself to blossom, to nurture my specialties and to putting them to use. And knowing that there will be learning and there is some ego, and that's okay, and it's a journey. And so that has been helpful. And Baba actually, he encourages us to be intoxicated with ourselves. Sometimes he says that we should say like va, Baba, va, drama, va. But one of the sentences is also va, me, va. Wonderful me, wonderful. So I think really feeling this, that I love myself, I love the specialties that Baba has given to me, this soul, not out of comparison, not because I feel better than anyone else, but I just love being me. And I allow myself to see those specialties and to use them. And I think that is actually healthy. And I think if I don't appreciate myself, I will look for appreciation from others. If I don't celebrate myself and appreciate myself, I will need to get it from the outside. So much better that I sit with myself and I really check and see what is my unique part in this wonderful drama of life, and especially this Brahmin life. What is it that I can offer? What is that I can be? And when I was very young as a Brahmin, I was less than 1 year into Brahmin life, and I visited the UK. And I went with the family where I was. There was like a big fair somewhere downtown. And Brahma Kumaris was having some introduction or something there at this fair. Many people other organizations were also there. And in the middle of the place, there was a big tree. And there was a question. And the question said, what is the contribution what is the quality that you would like to contribute to the tree of humanity? And then we were supposed to write it on a slip of paper and hang it on the tree. So what is the quality that you would like to contribute to the tree of humanity? And as I said, I was very young in Brahmin life at this time. I'd not really given it much thought, what was my specialty or what my contribution. So I just sat down quietly and tried to connect with my intuition or inner knowing. And the quality that came up very surprisingly at that time was the quality of innocence, which I had never thought of before. So I just wrote that down on the paper and I hung it on the tree. And from that time, it made me think. And I started to explore this quality that just as if it came to me. And I started thinking, what does it mean to be innocent? What does it look like? What does it feel like? And I think now if I was asking to do the same exercise, I would probably put something else, another quality. So I think this can change over time. It's not like just one quality that is there for a lifetime. I think we have many qualities. And sometimes there are periods where some quality is more like visible or apparent. And I would now like to, just for fun, just as a game, put up on the screen this question that I got many years ago. And I know that we are here with many languages, but it would be very nice if you would maybe just close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself this question. Which quality is your contribution to the tree of humanity? And maybe just ask yourself, what is the quality that I'm feeling now? It may not be the ultimate quality, the ultimate specialty, but just at this moment, at this point in time, what is the quality that I would like to contribute to the tree of humanity, or that I feel that I'm called to contribute to the tree of humanity? So let's close our eyes for a moment. And let me not use my rational mind too much, but just see what pops up very spontaneously. Maybe just the first thing to come to mind. And then I would like to just encourage you and invite you to open the chat. And I can see some people have already put in the chat, which is really nice. And if some others could also, and it can be in English, and it can also be in any, if you don't know the word in English, just put it in your own language. That is also fine. So it would be very nice to see a little more qualities in the chat. What is the quality that you are bringing to the tree of humanity? In any language, you can put it. So support and care, amor and love, humility, the drishti of Baba, humility, power of cooperation, honesty, compassion, enthusiasm, sakash, sweet fragrance, generosity, dedication, tolerance, consideration, humility, unity. Many are saying humility. That's interesting. Many are saying love as well. Very beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, you can continue to put in the chat if anyone likes. But very beautiful. I think what we bring to Baba's task is it's us. It's the qualities that we are, that we embody. And I would like to share with you one other experience that might be also inspiring for you or interesting to do. We will not have time during this session, but I can tell you about it. And you can do it afterwards, if you like. And this was an experience that I had in a sisters gathering in Bologna, Italy. This was in 2018. So we met a few of our sisters, good friends, Brahmin sisters, and we spent a few days together. And we were doing all kinds of interesting exercises and journeying together, and it was a lovely time. And one of the exercises that really touched me very deeply and has still is with me today, what came out of that exercise has been alive till today. And maybe some of you have tried it before, because after that time, it became common in the Brahmin family, at least in some groups or some retreats. This method was used. But it's the method of meeting different parts of myself and interviewing them. So again, it's about becoming very intimate with myself and really looking closely and seeing who are you, and with the different parts of the self. So the exercise is like that. I decide the part of me that I'm going to interview. And in this case, what I'm going to invite in this session connected with the theme is to interview my unique specialty. So I imagine my unique specialty being almost like a person, almost like another person. And what we did in this, when we were in Bologna, we went into different places. I actually went outside into nature, and I was sitting by like a stream or like a little river, and I was sitting there very silent, very like focused, and on the other side of the river I visualized this part of myself, which was like my specialty. And I was then interviewing that specialty. She may have a form a bit similar to mine, maybe, but it's like an energy that I really feel. I make it really tangible. And then I went ahead and I asked this form, this quality, lots of questions. And rather than answering from my rational mind, from my logical mind, I would really sit in silence and allowing the form that I had created, that I was like something that was like embodied in front of me, and I allowed that energy to speak to me. Of course, it's not another soul or anything. Of course, it's something I create internally. But it's still an energy that is present, that it does exist, and it's like seeking guidance from my own deeper sense of self, my own intuition, or my almost, in this case, when I was doing this exercise for the first time, it was like interviewing my ancestor self. It was like meeting this very deep, very ancient part of myself and asking the questions, who are you? Who are you? And then I would just sit for a while in silence and not thinking anything myself, but allowing the responses to come, very slowly, putting it down on paper. And then maybe the next question could be, what is it like to be you? What does it feel like to be you? What does it feel like to be you? And so I was asking this like several questions, and a response that came to me at that time that I've held very dear ever since, and I remember it often, is that this energy said to me, I am a keeper of divine energy. You could say like I'm a keeper of Baba's presence, or I'm a keeper of divine energy. So this resonated very strongly with me, and since then I've kind of kept it as a guiding light and reminded myself often, like, this is who I am, this is who I want to be. I am a keeper of divine energy, and let me not be distracted in all other kind of directions, but let me really hold this awareness. And I think if each one of us can really find out, it would be something different for each one of us. if I can really find what is the energy that I carry as Baba's instrument? What is my purpose in this Brahmin life? It makes life very meaningful, and it helps me become very strong in that specialty. I'm just going to again share the screen. I just put down a few of the questions that could be asked. So let's say if you want to try this out at home after the session or during the coming days, it's a nice exercise to do. Just sit down very quietly and you kind of make this specialty very strong in front of you, or like visualize it or kind of embody it. And then you can ask it the following questions. Who are you? What do you look like? What does it feel like being you? And then a very important question, what is blocking you from being fully alive and active? So I'm asking my specialty, what is blocking you from being fully active in my life? I could also ask, it's not there, but I could ask, is there anything you are afraid of? How can we work better together? Do you have any message for me? So it's just a very lovely exercise that helps me become very intimate and close with myself, and helps me getting to know the self that Baba sees better. I'm not seeing the limited self of Estefanía, my limited personality, my limited roles, but I'm really looking into the more unlimited aspects of myself. And when I find out what is my specialty, why am I here, it makes life so enjoyable. It really just fuels something within. And I really feel very much alive, and then I can also easier prioritize in my life how I want to use my time, invest my time, and I experiment in yoga and to really become that embodiment. And before we go into Q&A, I would just really like to read for you a little bit from Mamuli. So could you please show the chat once more? Someone is asking. You can actually see the chat at any point. If you just push on the chat button, everyone should be able to see the chat. So we have some more nice qualities here. Very nice, beautiful. Yes, so I'm just going to, before we go into the Q&A, I would just like to read a text from the Murli directly connected with this, directly connected with discovering my speciality. It's a text from the Murli that I really love. And I heard it many years ago and I've come back to it. And it's just supporting us and hearing with Baba's words. So I hope you don't mind. I know you don't mind hearing a little bit from a Murli. So this Murli, I'll just read a little bit of it. And the Murli is from 8th January 1986. And it's called The Holy Stars of the Earth. The gathering of you spiritual stars is so elevated and one that gives so much happiness. Do you consider yourselves to be sparkling stars in this way? People are very interested in looking at those stars. The time is now coming when everyone sorry, I'm just seeing something in the chat. Yeah, not the chat, but the chart. Yes, I will see, maybe I can show it a bit later on at the end of the session, if that's okay. And then I can show the slides again. You can take pictures if you like. Yes. So the time is now coming when everyone will want to see you holy stars. They will search for you stars and wonder where this influence of peace and happiness and stability is coming from. They will do research into this. At present, they are engrossed in doing research into matter, But when they become tired of doing research into matter, they will have the thought of doing this spiritual research. Before that, you holy stars have to make yourselves complete. Make preparations at a fast speed to fill yourselves with one speciality, whether it is the virtue of peace or power. You also have to research this. You do have all the virtues, but especially make yourself complete by having the speciality of at least one specific virtue. For instance, all doctors have general knowledge of all illnesses. However, along with that, some have special knowledge of a particular form of illness, and because of that speciality, they become well known for that. You have to become full of all virtues, but you especially have to experience one particular speciality, which you can use for service and continue to move forward. For instance, in devotion, in the praise of the goddesses, each one is remembered for her own individual speciality, and each one is also worshipped according to that speciality. They especially believe in and worship Saraswati as the goddess of knowledge. She is also an embodiment of power, but because of her speciality, people worship her as the goddess of knowledge. They worship Lakshmi as the goddess of wealth. Similarly, whilst having all virtues and all specialities in yourself, especially do research into one speciality and make yourself influential in that. Just going to repeat the last sentence. Whilst having all virtues and all specialities in yourself, especially do research into one speciality and make yourself influential in that. So it's a nice challenge that Baba is giving. So this was from 8th of January 1986. You can look it up if you like. So I find this just very inspiring to specialize in something, like you were saying, like doctors do specialize. And I ask myself, in what am I going to specialize? And when I start to live from that specialty and use it for my own growth and for service, it's just very fulfilling in life, and like really giving real experience of real happiness. So I think it's now time for Q&A. I just want to, because someone was asking for the PowerPoint to be put up. So I'm not sure if it was this slide. They were saying like the chart. Yeah, so these are the questions that, and you can of course ask any questions. You might think of some other questions as well. So maybe you can take a photo of this if you feel like doing it. And just creating your own questions as well. So yes. So not sure now if there are any questions. Maybe Maria, you can let me know.
Yes, thank you very much for your sharing, and really we took a lot of this, and especially especially the one about exercise you did in Bologna, it's really very powerful. And for the young ones, it was a very good thing to explore themselves, but also for us, it's a way to think about all these things and work on a different level. And thank you for sharing that. And also the Tree of Humanity was really very nice, and what we contribute to this world. And each one find the speciality of himself. Let's see if there are any questions.
They are asking to put, should I put it up now, or they're asking for the slide with the questions to be put up again? Not sure if I should do it now or later. What do you think?
If you can share them now.
Yes. So, yeah.
Who are you? What do you look like? What does it feel like being you? What is blocking you from being fully alive and active? How can we work better together? Do you have any message for me?
We can do this through words, and it's also possible to even like paint it, or like use drawing, painting, writing a poem for those who are like into this maybe artistic expression. So whatever feels natural for us.
So I think you got the questions. There is a message for you. Thank you for your honest sharing from your heart. I don't see any other questions.
Maybe I can just share.
Somebody says something about repeat something from the Morley. I don't understand the language.
I think if you want to look up the Murli, you can just look for the date 8th January 1986. You can go to the Murli search website and just look for 8th January 1986. And then you can find it.
Yes, thank you.
Maybe I can just add one thing that is just coming to mind now, which was recently. And this exercise, what we did in Bologna was like connected with that. I was recently in Iceland. We had this thing called Spirit of Humanity Forum in Iceland. And I was sharing room with a good friend, with Caroline from Germany. I think many of you would know her. So we are good friends, and we were sharing a hotel room together. And we had been like running around a whole day and been busy with many things. And it was quite late and we were going to sleep. I think it was 11 o'clock or something. We had been like busy with this service. And we were both lying in bed with our eyes closed and just about to like fall asleep. And then Caroline suddenly like jumps up and says, Stefania, I think I never asked you, what is your relationship with yourself? And it was just a nice thing, like a funny thing, because we are good friends and we have shared lots of things. But this question, asking, like she was asking me, and then I asked her, and we had this nice just sharing around what is my relationship with myself like. And I can say that through these exercises, like the one that I was sharing with you earlier, through these kind of exercises, I feel that the relationship with the self is strengthened a lot. And I remember, whereas previously it was so hard to love myself, it was so difficult to see my own good qualities. And it was really like, it was a very, very hard thing to do. And I couldn't see anything good about myself and not love myself at all. But through getting closer and more intimate with myself, using exercises like this one, for example, the heart just gradually becomes healthy and it becomes whole. And I stopped taking things so seriously then. The ego becomes smaller, actually, as I become more appreciative of myself. That's interesting, but that's how it works. So yeah, that was just something that came to mind. But someone is asking, does Brahma Baba have one particular speciality more than the others? What is your opinion about it? Yeah, it's a good question. I think, well, I don't know about Brahma Baba. It seems like he is the role model and that he has to role model all the specialties and had to become complete in all of them. In a way, that's my feeling for Brahma Baba. But the fact that Baba was encouraging us in this murli, and he has often done it also in other murlis, but especially in this one, to really research one speciality. I see it also like a game, and to make Brahmin life more interesting, and my own, like this path, this journey more interesting. And I've seen for myself, it's not just one quality that then stays for my whole life. It has been several qualities. They may be a little connected maybe with each other. I think each soul has, I see it like colors, like each quality representing one color. And then we mix them together and my color then becomes very unique. Each one's color becomes very unique, made of many different qualities probably. And then it's no two souls have exactly the same color or exactly the same tone. I like also like the music analogy. Being an instrument, I used to play an instrument. That used to be my profession. Now I prefer to be an instrument. And discovering what is my frequency, what is my tone, and it's different from anyone else's, and it's not ego to want to explore that. It's part of gaining self-respect again and just being very happy about being who I am, which is healthy. So is it like interview with your higher self? Someone is asking. Yes, you could say it's like an interview with a higher self. And I've used this exercise also for other things. I've also interviewed like my fear, for example. I've visualized my fear, my biggest fear in front of me, and also interviewed that. Or like you can take different aspects. And it's all about getting to know myself better, becoming more authentic with myself, and creating this very loving relationship with the self. And I think the beautiful life in Brahmin life is that we are all on the same path in a way. We receive the same guidance from Baba. And we are following, we're following Srimad and we read the same murli. But at the same time, each one's part is totally unique. I am preparing my part for the whole cycle, and it looks different from anyone else's part, which means that I need to live my life according to I'm preparing my cycle, my part. Baba's guidance will work anyway for all of us, but how we do it, how we put it into practice will be very different. And I think that's really makes Brahmin life so beautiful actually and enjoyable. When I get in touch with what is my part. And I think the specialties that we are now contributing with, I think they are with us like our companions. I think it's like a gift from Baba and that we carry it throughout the whole cycle. And the more, the stronger, the purer that specialty becomes now, the more it will be of use for me and for humanity for the rest of the cycle as well. So not sure if there is any other questions. Doesn't seem to be.
I don't think there are other questions. So thank you very much. Time passes so fast.
Yes.
Just before closing, can you guide us into some meditation for 2 minutes?
Yes.
And then we'll finish with Dristi from you. And for 1 minute probably. And then after that, we will continue with the usual 15 minutes meditation for the world.
Okay.
So I hope you will be with us also for the meditation.
Yes, absolutely. So I guide with just a few words and then with Dristi and you.
Dristi, and then we'll continue with the...
Beautiful. Very nice. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I imagine myself sitting beneath the tree of humanity. I, the soul, as Baba's instrument. Sitting beneath the tree of humanity in the roots, very close to Baba, the seed. And again, I ask myself the question that we asked earlier in this session: which is the quality that is my gift to the tree of humanity? What is the quality, the vibration, the color that is my unique gift to the tree of humanity, to all souls? And I fill my awareness with that quality. And I can even imagine that quality filling my whole being. Creating like an aura around the body. I'm connected with the seed. This quality flows to me from Baba, the seed, and through me to the whole tree. Just hold this image of embracing the tree of humanity with this quality. Seeing how it travels up the trunk to each and every leaf. And I just sit for a while, being an embodiment of that quality. Holding the whole tree in my awareness. While connected directly to the seed, to Baba.